نحن الآن متواجدين على الحدود الليتوانية البيلاروسية.
Few years in the past showed that we are ready not just for border control as we have it in usual way, but also in the conditions of hybrid aggression from neighboring countries.
وخلال وجودنا هنا الأمن البيلاروسي يراقبنا.
They was here, I think because of that, because they saw cameras.
نتوجه الآن إلى الحدود الليتوانية البيلاروسية بعد تهديدات روسيا بوضع أسلحة نووية هناك لنطلع على المشهد من الحدود. ازداد التوتر على الحدود الليتوانية البيلاروسية في الآونة الأخيرة، خصوصاً بعد تهديدات روسيا بوضع أسلحة نووية في بيلاروسيا وعلى حدودها مع ليتوانيا، وفق ما أعلن الرئيس الروسي فلاديمير بوتين.
Now we are going towards the border, the physical barrier, to check if it is okay, and just to do some everyday checks. I'll tell about you something what I do every day at my shifts.
ذلك الشريط الحدودي الذي يبلغ طوله نحو 680 كيلومتراً ما زال يخضع للمراقبة الدائمة، وذلك يشير إلى أن التوتر بين الدولتين ليس جديداً، لكن منسوبه ارتفع مؤخراً مع الاضطراب الذي تعيشه أوروبا بسبب حرب بوتين على أوكرانيا.
I come every my shift if I'm walking at the green border, checking the barrier. Especially because back in the time people tried to cut and to break it, to make a little place and bring the metal pliers and cut this barbed wire or put it like rugs or some rubber, so when that border crosser would not like to hurt his hands.
وبينما نحن هنا حملنا جملة من الأسئلة ذات الصلة إلى رئيس مجلس تنظيم مراقبة الحدود الذي شدد لأخبار الآن من الحدود الليتوانية البيلاروسية على أن قوات الأمن مستعدة ليس فقط لضبط الحدود بل لرد أي عدوان من البلدان المجاورة. How you are preparing now with the deployment of Putin's decision of nuclear weapons here on the borders?
State Border Guard Service of Lithuania is performing tasks every day, every night, 24/7, and during summer and during winter, and despite any decisions which are made on other countries. So we are ready for different situations, and few years in the past showed that we are ready not just for border control as we have it in usual way, but also in the conditions of hybrid aggression from neighboring countries. So we are ready to perform our tasks, and the deployment or not deployment of different ways of weapon is more question of our military forces and those who are responsible for state defense. We are ready to support them.
Talking about the Lithuanian Minister of Interior also, she stated that as soon as the installation of border monitoring system is completed in the country, they will take further steps. What are these steps? If you can just give us an idea about it.
To detect is not everything. You have to have assets to react, and also infrastructure and technical equipment to react on the actions which are going on the borders.
مع بداية العام الجاري كانت الحكومة الليتوانية قررت إلغاء الاتفاقية مع بيلاروسيا بشأن المبادئ الرئيسية للتعاون عبر الحدود، وذكرت أن الحدود مع بيلاروسيا تتم مراقبتها من خلال استعمال تقنيات مراقبة حديثة. رئيس مجلس تنظيم مراقبة الحدود شرح لأخبار الآن الوضع الحالي مع بيلاروسيا.
We still have a state of emergency, which now is prolonged until 2nd of May, and according to special regulations, some limitations for third country nationals, nationals of Russian Federation and Belarus, are in place. Border crossing points are not closed. Movement of goods and movement of persons is performed, but until there is an unprovoked war in Ukraine, we as a country and with our partners in our region, I speak about Poland, about Latvia, about Estonia, about Finland, we have some limitations for persons who do travel from countries which are aggressor, and this is just one part of our system of ensuring our national security. So some limitations are in place, but still border crossing points, not all, but they are performing their tasks.
وخلال وجودنا هنا الأمن البيلاروسي كما ننظر هنا يراقبنا حاليا. سوف نتكلم أكثر عن هذا الموضوع مع أحد الأمن الليتوانيين هنا.
Well, why they was here? I think because of that, because they saw cameras. That is the main reason that they didn't even step out. Maybe they were taking photos too of us. But still, they usually come, they do work like us, they come by their barriers, checking for any corruptions.
من الحدود الليتوانية البيلاروسية انتقلنا إلى العاصمة فيلنس، حيث التقينا نائب وزير خارجية ليتوانيا مانتاس أدوميناس للاطلاع على المتابعة الحكومية للتطورات الأمنية والميدانية. فقال المسؤول الليتواني إن الحدود ما زالت تحت المراقبة، خصوصا مع دول مخادعة مثل روسيا وبيلاروسيا اللتين يجب الحذر منهما دائما.
Rogue states like Russia and Belarus, we have to always be watching out because if they decide to make some sort of special operation, then clearly the border monitoring is important, but it may not be sufficient. What we saw in the past and why this border was enforced was flow of migrants organized by Belarus, who are bringing them by thousands, and then trying to push across the border into Lithuania, then Poland and Latvia. So that until then we had a border which was largely sort of unprotected by fences. We had to build all this length of the border and start monitoring it in order to avoid such actions by these increasingly unpredictable and hostile regimes. And so we are proud that we did that in a record time, strengthen our border, a very long one. But obviously we have to pursue also other security measures, constantly monitoring potential presence of Belarusian agents inside Lithuania, and also providing security to the numerous communities of Russian and Belarusian democracy activists who have found shelter in Lithuania. So far, we have been successful in thwarting any attempts at their sort of peace and security. Now we are working towards a different concept of deterrence by denial, and so that's to say we need credible presence of forces which are able to resist and push back Russia if it tries to invade. So we cannot give up any cities, any little towns, because we cannot risk the same horrors that happened in Ukraine to our people. And that's why we are bolstering our defense posture, but we're also negotiating with our partners in NATO, primarily with Germany, to strengthen their presence so that from 1 battalion it goes up to brigade level, and this has been agreed in Madrid NATO summit. So in fact, if Russia decides to invade, Belarus is not going to stand in its way. The important thing is to prevent Russia from invading, and for that we need credible NATO presence and Ukrainian victory in its war. If Russia exits from this war having a bit, just a sort of kilometer more of the territory than it started, it will consider that it was successful, and it will be encouraged to pursue this policy of aggression, policy of attacks against other countries in the future, whenever it manages to rebuild its army, which has suffered in Ukraine. So we have to be extremely supportive of Ukraine in the first place, and then sort of strengthen our own defense capability.
وفق ما أبلغت السلطات الليتوانية أخبار الآن، فإن حالة الطوارئ ستتوقف حالما تنتفي أسباب وجودها وتختفي الأسباب التي تهدد أمن المواطنين، لكن سيتم وضع نفس الأحكام التي تتحكم في حركة الأشخاص والتي تحد من وصول المواطنين الروس والبيلاروسيين إلى ليتوانيا على أسس قانونية مختلفة. فكيف ستسير الأمور هنا على الحدود وبين الدولتين الجارتين؟ أمور تبقى رهن التطورات التي ستشهدها الساحة الأوكرانية.